Hello everyone. Before we get started, make sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment saying where you're from and when you watched. That way, YouTube will continue to show you stories like this. Now, let's get started. That night, I sat in the living room, eyes wide open, trying not to let sleep overtake me. But the human body cannot resist nature forever. After hours of struggling, my eyelids became heavy, my head drooped. I jerked awake, trying to calm myself, but the clock struck 2 in the morning, and the phone in my hand lit up again. The words appeared like a cold warning. The next phase will begin as soon as you fall asleep. I held my head tightly, my heart pounding. I didn't want to, but fatigue gradually overwhelmed my will. And then, despite my fear, I fell asleep without realizing it. In my dream, I saw myself standing in the middle of a dark room. There were no doors, no windows, just for grey, mottled walls. I still held the phone in my hand, the screen emitting a blue light. I tried calling, but there was no signal, only a long static. Then suddenly, a hoarse voice rang out. "You're finally here." I shivered, looked around, but the room was empty. A cold air rushed through, and on the wall appeared black handprints, as if dozens of people were trying to crawl out from inside. I panicked and ran in the opposite direction, but my feet felt like they were stuck in mud. The more I struggled, the more I was sucked in. The phone rang. A weak female voice rang out. "John, don't sleep. Get out now," I shouted. "How can I get out?" But the only response I got was a long sob. At that moment, a pitch-black door opened at the end of the room. I had no choice but to step through. As soon as I stepped in, the scene changed. I found myself in the abandoned park from before, but this time, everything was distorted, twisted, as if space had been bent by an invisible force. The swings spun violently, the trees swayed despite the wind, and from all sides, children's laughter echoed in a ghostly way. I ran as fast as I could, the phone in my hand vibrating continuously. The screen showed the words, "You can only escape if you find out who the last caller was." I stopped, gasping for breath, my mind reeling. Who was the last caller, and what did he want? Suddenly, I heard footsteps behind me. Turning around, I saw a tall, dark figure, face unclear, only his eyes burning red. He walked slowly but surely, each step echoing like a hammer hitting my heart. I screamed and ran, but the park in my dreams seemed endless, running forever without reaching an end. The dark figure still followed, the distance unchanged. In the midst of my despair, I saw an old telephone booth in the distance, standing alone in the middle of an abandoned square. The light inside flickered continuously. I rushed over, opened the door, went in, and locked it tightly. The phone in the room suddenly rang loudly. I picked up the receiver with trembling hands, pressing my ear close. A familiar female voice rang out, but this time it was no longer weak, but full of urgency. "John, you have to wake up now, otherwise he will trap you here forever." I screamed in panic. "How can I wake up?" The voice replied, "Find the first call. That is the key." Then the line cut off, leaving behind a loud knocking sound outside the phone booth. I turned around, saw a dark figure standing right next to me. A burning hand placed on the glass, making the entire phone booth shake. I closed my eyes tightly, screaming in despair, praying to wake up. When I opened my eyes, I found myself lying on the bed, panting, cold sweat soaking my shirt. I thought I had escaped, but I was wrong. The phone on the bedside table rang loudly, the screen lit up with bright red text. "Welcome back, the new phase has just begun." I threw it on the ground, holding my head and screaming, but the sound echoed throughout the room, making me realize that I had not really woken up. I was still stuck in the nightmare vortex, unable to distinguish between reality and dream. The darkness in the room gradually spread, swallowing everything. From the corner of the room, a deep, hoarse voice spoke, clearer than ever. "John, you will never escape, whether awake or dreaming." I trembled, retreating towards the wall, my eyes glued to the phone vibrating on the floor. Then a female voice rang out, desperate and pleading. "Save me, end this game." I screamed and asked how, but there was no answer. The phone screen only showed a single line of text. "The truth lies right where you started," of part 6. Please follow the next episode to see what John will do when he is led back to the origin of everything.